Thank you very much. I'm really honored, happy to be here with you. I totally identify with the struggle that women in Iran are going through. I'm a journalist. I haven't worked at Glamour for a long time, but just want to share quickly with you why I chose women's issues in my professional life. It's actually related to extremism. I don't know if you know that, but when the Twin Towers attack happened, there were 103 women who were pregnant and whose father had died in the attacks. So some of these women wrote to me and say, so how do we find hope now? How are we going to talk about hope in the world to our children? I'm speaking in English. I know I have a French flag, so I'm speaking English with a French accent, if that's okay, because I had planned to do my speech in English. And so it was a good question. Where do you find hope? And I said to look for hope, search for hope for them, on their behalf. And I had decided that that hope cannot be of religious nature. It would have to be rooted in the actions of people and their behavior as human beings. So needless to say, I found that hope in the action of women worldwide. The resilience, the emotional intelligence, the bravery that it takes to change the world is repeatedly brought into action, into life by women everywhere. And I witness that every day. So extremism is a plague that is affecting us all. I think we agree that it has nothing to do, and Islamic fundamentalism either has nothing to do with Islam, has nothing to do with being Jewish, with the gender, with the skin color. I think we all agree, or I hope we all agree, that it's all about power. My own experience has brought me to believe that the only way we can really win that fight is to assert the values that they're trying to destroy, such as liberty and equality. Who's going to lead that fight? With all due respect to all politicians present here, I have also witnessed situations where politics come in the way of justice and human rights. Armed forces, we know the results of that. So really, what's left is ordinary citizen. And I have a really, really strong belief that it is ordinary people that are going to change the Iranian regime, the situation in India for women, the situation in Somalia and Afghanistan. And the reason I believe that is that any genuine change has to come from within. And it feels like an invisible army of people who are leading that fight. We've heard about a lot of them today. Mrs. Rajavi has talked about one of her friends whose determination, seeing the way she looked at the people who were going to shoot her, scared them. And they were right to be scared, because she had mustered more determination even than an extremist, which is a lot. So I want to tell you today also, myself, I didn't encounter extremism because I'm a woman. I encountered it more because I'm a journalist. And my husband, Danny, was actually a really big lover of the people of Iran, and I started to learn Farsi, and actually a lot of people here have met him when he was doing his reporting there. We had what I believe are very strong values, and for us, bridging gap between people meant really something. Telling the truth meant something, and most importantly, I think justice was the main force driving our action. So when we were investigating the 9/11 attacks in Pakistan, Danny was kidnapped by Al-Qaeda. He was brutally murdered. I was pregnant with our son. The murder was filmed and posted on the internet. And I was myself in Karachi with him, and I tried everything I could to save him. But they killed him, and they did that though they knew he was an innocent man. And so I was left with that same question that was asked to me after, how do I give hope now? when I found out what happened to him, I was surrounded by soldiers and agents of different countries, and there were a lot of weapons around because there were a lot of police people around. And my first reaction was to actually grab a gun. And then I thought, and I think I scared them because, I was pregnant with my gun, and I felt it's relatively easy to hurt someone who's hurt you so much. It wouldn't take that much to kill one of his captors, for instance. I was ready for that. But I also realized that this was the easy way out. And I thought about Martin Luther King as well. He said something that not many people have heard, but this quote really remained with me, and it is that that the world is in actually dire need of extremism, and creative extremism. What does he mean by that? At that moment, when I felt I could kill someone that has hurt me, that has hurt Danny so much, I felt the only way I can defeat these people is in a much more intimate fashion, but it's much harder as well. I realized that I understood what Al-Qaeda was after. They were very efficient people, they had very clear goals, and they had no heart. So I needed also to know what I could oppose them with. And my values, the values that I shared with Danny, that I now pass on to my son Adam, are the ones who allowed me to stand and to keep standing. So I have an extreme understanding of what freedom means and is worth. And same with different elements. Actually, what I did at that time when I put my gun down, I wrote a list of the things that they were trying to achieve by killing Danny. And I'm just going to quote like a couple of them. They want a clash of civilization, therefore I should strive to promote dialogue and understanding. They want to kill joy, therefore I will laugh again. They want to destroy hope, therefore I shall find it and I shall give it to others. This, is obviously an everyday task. Sometimes I fail, sometimes I succeed, but it is my struggle. I am determined to win, and I'm also determined to win on the behalf of all the people who give me courage. Those people are the ordinary people that you can believe and trust because they have no other vested interest than defending those values that makes us human beings, such as freedom, such as dignity, integrity. So it's basically we, the people, and I think that the values that define us and unite us will prevail thanks to the determination of all these people that we will never see, we'll sometimes hear about, we heard about them today, and maybe tomorrow they'll be, gone into the stream of news, but their action is what allows us to be here. So, I want to talk because of all the women in the world that I'm coming in contact with that are struggling, that are leading incredible fight on behalf of all of us. And I want to say, if you have some despair, if you have some setbacks, go and put your faith in individuals with no vested interest. So I would like to dedicate to all these women that we've talked about today an introduction that I wrote for Danny, and I'm going to say Danny because that's how I wrote it, but really you could put the name of all these people. And it was when I wrote a book called The Mighty Heart, telling this story in Pakistan. I write this book for you, Danny, because you had the courage of this most solitary act, to die with your hands in chains but your heart undefeated. I write this book to do justice to you and to tell the truth. I write this book to pay tribute to all the people who have supported us through terrible times, creating an emotional bridge for us to stand on. I write this book for you, Adam. Adam is our son, because I want you to know that your father was not a hero. He was an ordinary human being, an ordinary man with a mighty heart. And I think that all the women that we've talked about today are those ordinary women with a mighty heart, and they can defeat terrorism. The other thing is they also know that we have no choice but to win that fight. So good luck.